at Baramati, we have one of the most senior leaders in Indian politics, Sharad Pawar sir. Sir, thank you for speaking to us. He has been across the state, traveling throughout the day. Sir, at this age, you going across the state is actually an inspiration for all of us. So, in your difficult routine, how do you manage to go all across and meet so many voters in one day?
It's not a question of meeting voters. My liking is the associate with public at large. Whenever I travel, I get opportunity to interact many things with common people. If I have to travel long, then sometimes I use aircraft or helicopter. But my priority is always by car. And the reason is, when I travel by car, I can see the overall situation, crop condition, and in many places, local people stop me. If they have some problem, they raise issues. So it's a golden opportunity for me to interact with them, try to understand their issues, and I really get happiness because of that.
Sir, we've gone across, met a lot of voters in Baramati. They have a lot of respect for you. There's an emotional connect that they have. You and your family have contributed a lot for Baramatikars. In this election, what is it that you all really promise for Baramatikars this time?
You see, for Baramatikar, they have done everything for me. I think I started my career in 1965. And from 67 till today, I'm continuously getting elected, either sometimes Vidhan Sabha, sometimes Vidhan Parishad, sometimes Lok Sabha, sometimes Rajya Sabha. So, people from this, particularly Varanasi and state as a whole, they always supported me. They have given tremendous opportunity for me to work, and I owe for them.
Sir, we've seen how Baramatikars have always supported you, Supriya Tai for that matter, and now of course we see Yugendra Dada contesting from this very seat for MLA position. Sir, you've always promoted new faces, but however we've seen that there's an attack on you that you've pitched Yugendra Dada, he does not have any kind of a experience on ground. So what is your take on that?
Yugendra is highly educated. He studied and completed his graduation in the United States of America. After returning, he has started working in one of the sugar mills. He has started taking interest in sugarcane crop. This constituency, sugarcane and sugar industry is one of the important things. And in that field, he is working for the last few years. And he got good experience. Secondly, his overall attitude to take responsibility in such a way where he can able to resolve the issues. Number two, his association with public at large is very good, very intimate, and he enjoys, and public at large also enjoy his company. And that's why we are confident we are grooming him. And I think he is the person who will continue our legacy, who will continue to work for the next 30, 40 years. And that's why we selected him. He has also shown his mettle. And I'm sure people of Varanasi, voters of Varanasi, will encourage him, support him.
So you spoke about your legacy. Everyone in Baramati speaks about your legacy. So there's so much being spoken. Of course, now as of now, there is Ajit Dada versus Yugendra Dada. So how do you see your legacy going further in Baramati?
The legacy is going on. They are contesting each other. It's a question of ideology. You see, whether me or Ajit Dada we are contesting elections for many years. We always contest election BJP. Ajit Dada also got elected, I don't think correct, when I think 6 or 7 times. Every time he fought against BJP. So the party with whom we kept distance association relations, we oppose that party. And people in Varanasi, they support our thinking, our ideology. With this background, suppose somebody is going to associate with a party where you are really opposed. So people will not like this. And that's why this election is not a question of personal thing or anything. It's a question of ideology. And from that angle, I think what Yugandhar is doing is the correct thing. He has continued the ideology along with legacy, and people will definitely give importance to this approach.
Sir, of course, when you speak of the ideological battle, we saw what happened in Lok Sabha election. Supriya Tai, that got kind of a mandate, 160,000 votes in Baramati itself. Do you see that kind of mandate repeating itself again here?
I think seriously, of course, Ajit Dada, he is working for many years. He is the Deputy Chief Minister of State, and he is the Deputy Chief Minister. This is the fourth occasion. Secondly, his association with Varanasi is also visible there. Only Varanasi people know him, a person who has practically started his career in Congress ideology. In Congress ideology, association with BJP doesn't fit. And practically, all his elections he fought against elements like BJP. And now he is sitting with them, he is associating with them. People of Varanasi will not like this.
And sir, of course, we've seen people being unhappy with him supporting BJP. We've seen that kind of a support by people. But on the other hand, the other narrative is that people in Baramati would always support you, Sahib, in the central level and support Dada on the state level.
Yes, in fact, that's our decision. When I decided to go to National Party, to contest parliament, we suggested somebody should look after the Varanasi constituency and local people. And we selected him, and he was also doing a good job. He is not too offended about that. But that was the one direction, ideology, political direction. And if you leave that direction, go to altogether different side, I don't think people will like it.
Right. And sir, of course, people have not liked several things, when you speak of the whole Baramati angle. We've also seen how Baramatikards have not liked him attacking you and Supriya Tai, the stance he took after parting ways. Do you think that went against him? Because he's changed his stance now and he's not, he's using soft words against you and Supriya Tai.
It's always, it's up to him. And you see, public at large, keep very close eye and how somebody is talking, how he is behaving, what type of criticism and issues he is raising. So you will be closely observing, and then you come to conclusion, and I'm sure that conclusion will be favorable to Yugandhar.
Right. And sir, now speaking of the party, we've seen how the manifesto has been released. There are several schemes that have been announced by the Mahavikas Aghadi. Sir, particularly here, we've seen there was also a demand for Muslim reservation, the 10% reservation. We saw Olema both writing to you, to Uddhav Sahib, also to Nana Patole. So, sir, if the Mahavikas Aghadi comes to power, will that be a stand that will be taken for Muslim reservation by Mahavikas Aghadi?
Yeah, you see, I have not seen it, I heard. I read in the newspaper that some communication has been sent to our party. I wrote to Bombay, I will see the document, but simultaneously, I think it is our responsibility to provide opportunity, even for sake of opportunity, concepts like reservation, to the section which is weaker section, which is facing so many problems. And there, if we have to improve their overall living standard, we have to provide certain facilities to them. One of the facilities will be education, reservation in education in other states. It's not a question of Muslim. It's a definitely Muslim is there, then SC minority, different minorities, and then those who live below poverty line, everybody deserves some sort of reservation, and I do support that.
Right. And sir, of course, the other aspect that we speak of, when you speak of reservation, we see how Maratha reservation affected the Mahayuti massively in the Lok Sabha election. Of course, we've seen the Marathas have gone ahead and said that they want reservation, which is not being worked on. So how do you see that that equation of Maratha reservation working out in Vidhan Sabha?
There is demand for Maratha reservation also. Maratha community is a farming community. Sizable sections of the Maratha community who are in farming sector, their overall situation condition is not very good. They have limited agriculture, and that limited agriculture cannot take the entire responsibility of the family. It requires some other facilities, other opportunities in the area of education, job, and some whatnot. So there, a demand from Maratha community is nothing wrong there. One agitation has been started from district Jalna, and that agitation was for reservation. The gentleman who has taken initiative and which has supported, particularly Maratha at large. So that gentleman was insisting for reservation for Maratha. But I saw his own statement. Definitely he was insisting reservation for Maratha. Simultaneously, he said, like a Maratha, there are other sections also, like Muslim, like Shepherd, we call Dangar, then Vandaras. So these sections also require reservation. That's why it's not question of only Maratha. Yes, Maratha is very much there, but along with Maratha, those who are displaced, those who like to get some opportunity and some facilities, so they should also get reservation, and that's why approach is very wide. It's not for a community, it's a community plus those who are somewhat able to a community. They also deserve for reservation.
Right. And so, like you spoke of the farmer issue, the cotton and soybean farmers have been unhappy in Maharashtra. Is there, if the Mahayuti comes to power, is there something that will be done for cotton and soybean farmers as well?
100%. You see, these two are the major crops, particularly Vidarbha, Marathwada, and certain parts of Maharashtra. Farming communities depend on these two crops. Recently, they are unable to get cost of cultivation. So unless and until they get cost of cultivation, remunerative price, it will be difficult for them to sustain in agriculture. And that's why they are insisting for minimum support price. The government of Maharashtra, which was done by BJP and their colleagues, they are just mentioning, they are making noise, they are talking, but actually they are not doing anything. And unless and until economically the farming sector is viable, and particularly these two crops, which are the major crops, it will affect the entire state's economy and living condition of farming community. And that's why demand for better price for soybean and cotton is a legitimate demand, and we are supporting that.
And sir, another issue that is very important right now is about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. We saw after the fall of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj statue, there was a lot of politics that was being played. But more recently, Prime Minister Narendra Modi attacked the MVA, saying that it is you all who are in fact disrespecting the lineage or the Chhatrapati Shahu Maharaj. So what is your take on that? Sir, we've seen there's a lot of politics over Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Sir, there was the fall of the Shivaji Maharaj statue, following which more recently when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Mumbai, he said that it is the MVA who is disrespecting the lineage of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj.
He himself and his colleagues are disrespecting. What you mentioned regarding one particular statue, which was so-called inaugurated by Mr. Narendra Modi, that was collapsed within 1 month. Secondly, they announced that there is some memorial in the sea, in the Arabic Sea. Narendra Modi himself visited, and he performed puja. That was about 6 years back. Till today, nothing has happened. He is a person, he is just making wise statements without taking his own, without understanding his own responsibility and contribution. So this is the speciality of Mr. Narendra Modi. And that's why now public at large started understanding, just to hear wise statement, you listen to Modi. Otherwise, there is no positive thing from Mr. Modi. That's why whatever he is saying about Chhatrapati Shivaji or similar leaders, I think nobody will believe him.
And so similarly, there are statements coming in from Yogi Adityanath or even Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying batenge to katenge, alleging that it is MVA who is doing vote jihad and asking BJP and allies to come together saying they are ek hai to safe hai.
You see, Mr. Modi is the Prime Minister of this country. Prime Minister is the institution, and that's why one has to respect. But that person who is supposed to respect and maintain respect to his position, it is his responsibility also to act, speak in different manner, which will bring each and every section of the society together. Now, the statements what they are making, batenge to katenge, this, that, this is just they want to convert all these discussions on the communal line. And they are confident that they are going to lose. So now they have taken different line. And that line is to communalize the entire politics, communalize the entire campaign, and directly, indirectly ask the support voting in the name of community. And that's Mr. Modi and his colleagues are doing. And I'm sorry, but this is a disrespect and this service to the society as well.
Right. And sir, of course, when it comes to society, there are different society members whom one has to reach out to. In the Mahavikas Aghadi manifesto, we've spoken about the Mahalakshmi Yojana, 3,000 rupees being given to women. But however, the Mahayuti has attacked saying it's a copy of the Ladki Bahin Yojana.
It's a copy of it. Is it a good scheme or not? Is it a beneficiary for a particular section? One has to see. And that's why, if it is a coffee or it is somewhat like that, I don't think anything is wrong with that. We should think only whether it is very necessary to the particular section. And the answer is yes.
Okay. And so, who would be the CM face for Mahayuti if Mahayuti comes to power?
We sit together. If we get the numbers, if we get the majority, we are the three partners. We'll sit together. Hussain gets the maximum number. We'll suggest it.
And sir, just one last bit. Sir, you in a recent speech said that you not want to continue contesting elections anymore. So what would you then, opt for? How would you continue serving the society?
Since 2014, I have not contested direct election. So I have taken decision because I started my parliamentary career in 1967. From that day till today, 55 years, continuously, I am a member of the Vidhan Sabha, Vidhan Parishad, Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha. I think how long I should contest. That's why I took a conscious decision not to contest direct election for either Lok Sabha or any other. And if I have to continue, I am definitely continue in public life. I will continue in Rajya Sabha. This is not direct election. And I will try to serve people at large.
So one last question would be about there was an allegation made by Devendra Fadnavis that the party split because you wanted Supriya Tai to be the CM face.
Nonsense. Supriya is a fourth. This is her fourth term in Lok Sabha. Her interest is in Lok Sabha. And that's why she never thought also to come to state politics. So this is not the issue. Because Devendra Fadnavis has no other issue. And that's why he is making this type of foolish statements.
And so, Ajit Dada last mentioned that you were aware about the 2009 swearing in that he did with Devendra Fadnavis after the Vidhan Sabha election last year. When he took oath with Devendra Fadnavis, Ajit Pawar has gone ahead and said that you were aware that he was going to...
That's early morning oath, I was not sorry. But I was always, they were insisting to go with them. They have not hid from me. They told me, they were facing me, that I should join, which I said no. That is correct. But when they took oath that day, that I was not sorry.
Sure. Thank you so much. That was Sharad Pawar speaking to us exclusively on CNN News 18.